Hello, Fabrizio. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Online Data Innovation Summit. We are really glad to have you with us on Facebook AI. To start with, please tell us a bit more about yourself and your role at Facebook AI.
Sure. So I'm Fabrizio, and as you said, I'm working at Facebook, in particular at Facebook AI, the artificial intelligence research department. And I'm currently a manager of a team in Facebook AI. I was, let's say, what we call individual contributor, a research scientist, until the end of last year. I've always been working in areas related to machine learning and artificial intelligence. In particular, before joining Facebook, I was mostly involved with web search, and I was doing research in the area of web search. And more recently, well, not super recently, I switched to natural language processing and artificial intelligence in general. And at Facebook at the moment, we are working on problems related to the integrity of our platform. So things such as, detecting when strange activities are going on, or like, fake accounts, or like misinformation and stuff like that.
Which is really interesting to hear. I mean, our viewers would be, I think, really invested in it. This is actually connected to the second question. In your presentation, you're going to present Facebook's novel Misspelling Oblivious Embeddings model in the field announced last year. Could you tell us a bit more about this model and how and why it is used?
Sure. So, I mean, this is a model that is, let's say, part of the family of word embeddings. So this is like a very, let's say, wide and important family of models in natural language processing. Basically, you use word embeddings to encode words and phrases, sentences, and documents, whatever, and then subsequently let's say, input those words, sentences, and documents into machine learning models, in particular neural networks, which are popular models in nowadays. And one of the issues that we identified with the models before our, let's say, model was proposed is that they were not very resilient to misspellings. And in particular, this was a problem for some of our, say, products, because people were adversarially misspelling words, so, for instance, to kind of circumvent, like limit, like our, our like gates, like, if you want to filter out adult queries or like inappropriate queries and stuff like that, they were misspelling them on purpose. And so the goal of this misspelling oblivious embedding is actually to develop a technique to make all of the word embeddings resilient to misspellings by adding, let's say, a sort of supervised component to the loss, to the technology, so that you can actually train the model to recognize when something is misspelled and to basically put it in the same, let's say, class as non-misspelled, as correctly spelled words. And these actually improved significantly in production as well, the effectiveness of our classifiers.
Right, so like be one step ahead of, as you said, the adversarial misspellings. This is really interesting, but besides the misspelling embeddings model that you just described, what other projects have you been involved in Facebook AI?
Yeah, so recently my team is working on let's say, developing models for, as I said, like integrity-related problems, exploiting the so-called graph neural networks, graph learning algorithms. And in particular, we are developing both the infrastructure and the framework to develop these models at scale at Facebook, and also models as well. So we have developed GNN, graph neural network models for instance, let's say, improving our misinformation detection algorithms. and other things. We of course, I mean, being like a general framework, once you have published, other people at Facebook can use it.
Right. Sure.
This is like the most recent things that we have worked on. Other things like models to detect, like this is like a more basic technology that we have developed. We have developed a model to detect when two pieces of text are in agreement or disagreement. So for instance, if you say person X has said this thing, we can actually detect other pieces of text on Facebook where let's say those pieces of text agree and disagree with the sentence in input.
Right.
So this is very important to detect like controversial topics and stuff like that.
Right. It's so interesting to hear the backside of the, you know, the most famous social media network we all use, I'm sure. But Fabrizio, we have one last question regarding AI and machine learning online. What is your future outlook for social media? What can we expect in the years to come regarding artificial intelligence and machine learning on social media?
Well, so first of all, I guess that so again, this is my like private view. I mean, this doesn't necessarily reflect Facebook, let's say, directions, of course. But what I believe is that we will, let's say, we will see more and more models that are trained and run on our devices instead of, let's say, upload data, have like large and huge data centers, you know, like crunch our data. So I'm expecting more and more models to be actually run on device. And for this reason, in my opinion, one of the most exciting research areas nowadays are, is that of on device and decentralized machine learning, federated machine learning.
Right, yeah.
And like not necessarily in the area of social media, but in my opinion, one exciting, very exciting field of research that has started to develop in the last couple of years is that of quantum machine learning, that is using quantum computers to develop machine learning models. I believe that these will really unlock future possibilities that we can possibly even barely imagine at the moment. And this is very, very exciting. And again, I strongly believe that at some point, maybe not in the next couple of years, but in
sometime.
Sometime. I mean, I would say not very far in the future. You know, only 10 years ago, things that we are doing were like unthinkable. And nowadays, I mean, everybody can do it.
Yeah, they're real. they're
real.
Yeah, thank you for sharing with us your like future predictions and outlooks. That was our final question. So I would like to thank you for being part of the Data Innovation Summit 2020 and for doing this interview with me.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.